All right, well, we should be live right now. Looks like he's oh, okay, here we go. I think he's back. You're able to hear me and everything?
Hmm.
All right, awesome. Well, we're live right now. So I guess before we really get this interview started, is there anything that you want to plug or anybody you want to shout out?
Not really.
All right, man, sounds good. Just keeping it simple, but it's kind of get into the interview, talk about maybe a little bit more of a lighter topic. So I know your nickname is Bug, the straight up
Hmm.
Bug. Well, with two G's, and you'll get into that. But
Hmm.
I guess I'm curious. Actually, we'll go in the beginning of that nickname. So just first off, just kind of tell me, how'd you get that nickname? What does it mean?
Wait, what?
Oh, like how'd you get that nickname, and what does it mean?
Oh, when I was little, I would just be crawling around and I wouldn't stop moving, like at all. So my dad just said bug, and I just started answering to it.
Yeah. What is the like? How come it's two G's and not one G?
Because one day I was spelling it. I wrote BUG, and my dad said no, two G's. I guess he didn't want me to be an insect or something.
Yeah, I guess it's cooler. It is cooler that way. But I was curious because obviously, like a bug, like it's something like annoying, like something like that. It would be
Hmm.
cool if like, oh, because I'm a pest on defense or something like that. But you said, oh, it's because I crawl on the floor all the time. Like, well, when I was little, I crawled on the floor all the time like a bug. So how are you like proud to kind of have that nickname? Because if you just told me your name was Bug, the first thing I'm thinking of is this guy's probably really annoying.
It's just different. Nobody else has that name.
Yeah. Do you happen to be a pest on defense as well?
Hmm.
Do you happen to be a pest on defense as well?
You keep breaking up on here.
Yeah, let's see. If you want, you could try refreshing the page again and see what happens if that's any better. All right, sorry about that, guys. Looks like we had a technical difficulty, but he should be right back in here. So to stay tight. Yep, that was very fast. All right, let me add him back in.
Oh.
All right, is it all better now, or still
Hmm.
a little shaky? All right, sounds good. Yeah, I just want to know, like, are you a pest on defense as well?
Sometimes I'll like take a little break, but being a part of Duncanville basketball, you can't really take breaks. So
Yeah. And I'm glad you kind of brought that up about Duncanville basketball. I think are they still ranked number one in the rankings?
I think we're number two, but it all matters if we're number one at the end.
Yeah, exactly. I'm actually let's check this right now because I am curious who is number one. That if it's not you guys, so let's see. We're gonna do some quick research because I am very very curious because I mean you guys we're gonna get into a lot of stuff about your team. Obviously, there's a lot of interesting things. Let's see if I go down to these rankings. Um, oh no, okay. At least as of December 28th, you guys were ranked number one. Uh,
Hmm.
so at least that's what it has right now. So we're definitely gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about a lot about this team, but you kind of said like that's Duncanville basketball. Like I really can't be taking any time off on defense. So describe to me like what Duncanville basketball is like.
Because like we have bench, so like if anybody's tired, the next man is up, and they can do the same thing the starters did. So Coach Peavy would always say, "Give it 110% and check yourself out. That way, this person can get in because everybody's gonna shine and everybody's gonna do this and everybody's gonna do that."
And for a guy like you, I mean, this is your freshman year. That's like a very interesting system. I'm sure in middle school, I'm gonna assume it was not anywhere near similar to what it's like being on a number one nationally ranked team, where you have guys on your middle school bench that could just come in and be as good as you. I mean, what's that like? Being a freshman, kind of having to adjust to that type of system.
Um, Being a freshman is hard because you have to like fight for minutes, and I mean all pretty much all 4 years you're fighting for minutes, but freshman year it's pretty hard to fight for minutes because you're the first man coming from middle school.
Yeah, exactly. Has it at all been like? Has it been really difficult for you? Because I mean, obviously you're probably a top player in your class. Good chance you might even be ranked top 25 when when those things come out. So has it been at all a little bit hard for you?
A little bit hard, but not really, because I just get out there and practice and go at whoever's guarding me and go at whoever I'm guarding.
Yeah. And would you say like by this time we're kind of like mid-season, do you feel like you really know what you're doing now?
Hmm.
Yeah. And then now this is something we got to talk about. I mean, you guys ended up being Montverde. They are a very, very talented team, and they've been like a national powerhouse. I mean, they won Geico Nationals last year. They're basically like technically they should be back to back Geico Nationals champions. But for you guys to beat them, I mean, take us through that whole game that day, what that was like.
Okay, I can hear you now.
Okay. All right. You want me to repeat the question? All right. Again, sorry about that, guys. Looks like you might be having another technical difficulty. We'll just wait for him to hop right back in here, and then we'll continue on with the interview. All right. Hello.
Okay, I can hear you now.
All right. Awesome. Awesome. I thought we were gonna be like, oh, let's do it a different way, but I guess you're confident in this, so that's
Hmm.
good. Yeah. Well, I guess the question I asked you was about that game when you guys beat Montverde. I mean, we'll take us through the game a little later, but I want you to kind of take us through like that whole day, really preparing and getting ready for that big game.
Hmm. That whole day, everybody was just focused and locked in. Warm ups, we were getting loose and not really playing around. Um, uh, Pre-game shoot around when coach was talking to us, everybody was just like into it. Everybody had their little AirPods and headphones in, listening to music. Um, Everybody just getting loose and ready for the game. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. So what were you listening to get you focused?
Hmm?
What were you listening to get you focused?
I wasn't really listening to anything. I was just stretching. Just.
Oh, so you didn't have AirPods in, but like a lot of guys did.
Hmm.
Okay, it would be funny if you're like, oh, I just put them in just to look cool or something. Yeah, but I guess now about the game. I mean that is, in my opinion, like that's like a pretty big upset because you guys like even though you got a lot of good guys on your team, you're just a normal high school. Like you go to probably a decently sized Texas school, probably a big Texas school. you got tons of normal kids there. It's not some prep school where you're sleeping there overnight and like it's only athletes. Well, even the Montfort has like normal kids too, but like the athletes just kind of stick together, and that's it. Like you're a normal kid, and you normal kids from Texas just defeated, probably at the time like the number one ranked team or top 5 team in the country. So just how'd you guys really were able to pull that off?
Mm-hmm. And I think we had a lot of motivation because I think it was like 3 years ago that Hoop Fest, whenever we played them and they blew us out, when they had Cade Cunningham and
Yeah.
Scotty Barnes and
Yeah, I remember seeing on a video actually. I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So the coaches were talking about that, and they were like, "Time to get our lick back."
And basically, once they said that, you guys were just like, "All right, like we got it," and you did it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I do feel. I mean, it is much more. I mean, even though I guess you're making it seem easy, like it's much more complicated than just like Coach said, like we need our revenge, and then you guys said, "Okay, like we'll beat them for you." Like it's really not that easy. Like what things did you guys have to do to you execute? Like what was the game plan? Like, or did Coach just say like just beat them?
What did the what?
Like what was the game plan, or did your coach literally just say like,
just to grab every rebound we could?
And was that
grab
something
every rebound, hit open shots, and get back in transition?
Yeah. And what was that at all like? Because basically, you guys probably just outworked them, I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm. We were up by like I think 12 at one point,
and
we were like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna win, we're gonna win." They started getting blocks. The refs started calling it the other way. They came back, and everybody was just like, "Oh, here we go."
Yeah, but then I guess it ended up not happening. I said I guess that ended up not happening.
Oh no! But when Eric hit that shot, man, we were like, we just beat the number 1 team in the country.
So. And then I guess what's cool with that too is that you guys are now the number 1 team in the country. Yeah. So how does that feel? I mean, being a freshman, like getting this experience. I mean, even though, I guess there are very few freshmen that really play a lot on Montverde and everything, but I'm sure you get a lot of experience, and you're able to say in your first year of high school basketball, like you're getting experience playing on the literal number 1 team in the country. Just what's that like for you?
I mean, it's just a blessing. God put me in this point. He don't put me in situations I can't handle. He put me in this situation, so I guess I gotta handle it. I like this.
And this question may be similar to one of the previous ones I asked you. It may not be, but being the number 1 team in the country, like what does that take, since you guys have kind of held that spot down now for a good amount of weeks?
It just takes work, dedication, mainly work and dedication and discipline.
And you guys are obviously a very, very loaded team, but again, like a lot of the teams that are ranked below you, like it's almost like they do school and basketball, but like it's very, very heavy. Like they have a lot of resources that they have at all these prep schools and all that stuff, and I'm sure you guys do have a lot of good resources as well. But these guys basically go to like a school that's known for basketball and everything like that. Like it might just be guys. The basketball team might be the whole school. That might be what it is. Like they got a lot more attention, I feel like, compared to when you go to a public school. Even if you think you do, like going to a public school is different. Like I go to a public school, I kind of know how it is, even though I feel like my team's very privileged for a public school team. I mean, how do you guys think you're going to really handle all these teams below you that have all these resources? How do you guys just handle all of that if you make it to Geico Nationals and have to compete against all these other national teams?
I mean, we don't really worry about that because right now we have to win a state championship. And after we win the state championship, then we can worry about the national, the little end of the year tournament and stuff like that.
Yeah. But then I'm going to assume, like, when you guys make it to Geico Nationals, it's not going to be like, oh, good for us. We made it here. I'm just happy to be here. Like, if we win or lose, I'm happy. Like, that's not how it's going to be, though.
We have to win all the games and take care of business.
Yeah, definitely. and the team is very loaded. I think Anthony Black, he's also on that team as well, I think, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think he joined there like kind of late. So again, I mean, loaded roster. When the season started, or even like when you were first getting started with these practices and everything, did you really think like, oh, this could be a number one team?
Yeah, it was a number. Well, to me, we number one no matter if we lose or win.
Yeah, well, why would you say that? Because obviously, again, like you're comparing yourselves to a team like Montverde, teams like IMG, team like
Because
Sunrise Christian.
nobody works as hard as we do. We do more in the weight room. We do more on the court. We go to the track sometimes. We just work harder than everybody else.
Mm-hmm. And this is a question I ask a lot of Texas players. I mean, Texas isn't really known for basketball. It's known as a football state, as I'm sure you know. So, kind of, what was the show about Texas basketball?
Um, it just people can talk about it now.
Mm-hmm.
A few years before Duncanville started winning state championships, they couldn't really say anything. But now, when everybody's playing good, Texas basketball is just better than everybody else right now, I feel like.
Yeah. And away from talking about like the team, but I want to talk about still about Duncanville. Don't you guys play in kind of like a mini arena kind of thing?
Hmm.
Yeah. What's that kind of like? I feel like that's kind of cool, like for a high school to play in a
Hmm.
gym like that. I mean, is that like kind of special?
That is special because a whole lot of high school teams have a tiny little middle school gym, and we're just blessed to have a nice arena to play.
Yeah. Does it usually get? I mean, I guess Corona's been kind of bad, but like, does it get kind of packed in there, or has it been packed in there yet?
Hmm. It was packed for Hoop Fest. Um, it doesn't really get super packed for district unless it's a rival game, but people are still loud, and it's yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, you said it gets packed. Is that by far probably the craziest atmosphere you've ever played in?
Hmm.
Yeah. What is like a Texas basketball atmosphere like?
Probably when we played at Dickies Arena,
Hmm.
or last year when they played at American Airlines when it was sold out, like just like an NBA game. And I was just sitting on the bench and I was just saying to myself, this is going to be me in a year. Mm.
So, well, I mean, like I know a lot of kids that kind of just follow a high school team even though they're like not in high school. So, I mean, what were you doing then in middle school? Were you even playing middle school basketball, or were you more just kind of practicing with Duncanville and as
I
working
would
on your
play,
high
I would play
school?
middle school basketball. I would go to practice in the morning, practice in the afternoon, and then after school, like in the afternoon, one of the coaches there would take me up to Duncanville, and I would do the end of practice with them, and then hoop with them.
Yeah, is was that at all? I mean, being a middle schooler, I guess I'm sure your body's a little different from most middle schoolers, but still, like, I was thinking about it, and I mean, middle schoolers are little kids. Like, I thought I was a big kid in middle school. Like, middle schools are kind of small. So, how is your
Hmm.
body able to just handle all of that constant work every single day?
I just got used to it. I just got used to working out every day because that's what I have to do in order to get where I'm going
Hmm.
or where I want to go.
Yeah. What I guess what are those goals that you have for basketball?
Um, when get drafted, go to the Final Four, win a national championship, and just uh,
I'm
make a
assuming
name for myself.
basically anything good in basketball, like McDonald's All American,
Hmm.
MVP, NBA champion, All Star. I'm just gonna guess. Is anything good in basketball? Hall of Fame. Those are your goals.
Hmm.
Yeah, and being a freshman, I think you definitely got the potential to achieve those goals. Is something that you're doing to kind of keep yourself on the right track. Is being a part of Southern Assault, very very well known AAU team. What's it like being a part of that program?
Uh, I mean, Coach Kevin welcomed me with open arms. He didn't say, "Oh, you play with this team, you can't come here, you can't do this, you can't do that." He just said, "Oh, you looking for a team? Come on. and then I just started playing with them. I started liking the way they do things, and right now, as of now, I'm with them.
Yeah. Well, what was it like playing with them? And actually, I'll ask that question next. So, just what's it like playing with them?
Uh, it's really nice. We win a lot of games. We lose some games, but those are just lessons. It's just fun, like going to traveling different places, and like he said something about LA and stuff like that. Like that's just a nice little experience.
Yeah, for sure. And do you think there's any maybe similarities between playing with Southern Assault and playing for Duncanville?
Duncanville, I get to do. I mean, Southern Assault, I get to do more. Duncanville, I get in. Coach says make shots and make sure and don't let them score. So
Mhm.
Southern Assault, I sometimes bring the ball up and stuff like that. So
So I guess it's kind of two different types of
hmm
basketball you're playing on both teams.
hmm
Yeah. Do you have it all like a favorite experience so far uh during your time with Southern Assault?
um, there have been a lot of favorite moments, but my favorite moment is when one of our best players went out of town and we had to win a tournament with 6 players. Um, we played this really good JB White or something like that team, uh, and it was close the whole game. We got down to the wire, and I was in the corner, and Coach walked to me, and I said, "Coach, I want the ball." It was like uh, I think it was tied up, and they had came down and scored, and we called the timeout. And in the timeout, I said, "Coach, I want the ball." And he was like, "I got you." They ran a play for me, and I just caught the ball. I dribbled, took a step, and then shot the three, and then we won.
Yeah. And we hear those like I mean I can't just imagine having that amount of confidence. Like we hear the story about Kobe Bryant where he was like, "Oh, whoever passed me the ball, like you're making history and whatever." And passed the ball, he knew it was going in. Sounds
hmm
like a maybe probably all due respect, a little less significant of a moment, but still very, very cool. I mean, how do you have the confidence like that?
Uh, I have all confidence if I want to win. All
Mhm.
I did was want to win a championship. I mean, win that championship for that tournament, and that's what we did.
So I it's just kind of like your opinion on confidence because, in my opinion, well, obviously, like you shouldn't be like this as a player, but like when the game's getting like to that crunch time moment, it would be nice to know I have someone else that can step up and hit the free throws for the win and everything.
hmm
Because I get the ball, I might be a little nervous,
hmm
whatever. But you think that if you want to win that bad, then kind of all the nerves go away.
hmm
Yeah, definitely, man. Maybe I just don't want to win that, but I think that's probably that's when I'm confident. Like I'll be playing, I'm
hmm
like so nervous, and then I'll lose the game, and I'll be like, it's fine. Like it's not like that. You might have answered like all my problems. I'm not gonna lie. I wish I spoke to you like 5 years ago. Would have been
hmm
nice. Yeah, but continuing on, uh, I'm sure that Southern Assault. Well, I guess yourself too personally, but I'm sure Southern Assault and AAU basketball has played a really, really big role in this. I mean, you got a few Division 1 offers already in your freshman
hmm
year, so what's that recruitment process been like, and maybe what has Summer Assault done to help you with that?
Me just the work I put in with my dad has really got me to this point. Um, and when those coaches come to the Duncanville practice, I just go hard as I can, like I do in any other practice. And they would just say, "We want to offer you," and I would tell them thank you and stuff like that.
Yeah, has it been at all like difficult for you? I mean, says I think it's difficult just in high school basketball, that stuff. I feel like the recruiting process is something that's definitely an adjustment too. Uh, I mean, I guess it's not too crazy for you, but like you've again 3 offers as a freshman. Like that's crazy for a freshman. So has that been at all maybe a little bit difficult or an adjustment for you, or is it kind of simple?
Difficult because sometimes I'll have a bad practice or I'll have a bad game, and the coach will say something like to motivate me, like maybe they're offering this person instead of this person, and then that'll make me go harder, and then that'll just make me work harder and harder and harder to get another offer.
So I guess offers more like they motivate you to go like you like collecting them. It's almost like an
Hmm.
addiction. Like you just want to collect more and more offers.
Hmm.
Yeah. And with the recruitment process now, a little more specifically, you live in Texas. I'm assuming you're nowhere near close to a decision. I'm assuming you're going to get a lot more offers down the road. But 2 out of the 3 schools that offered you are from your home state of Texas. So if you end up going to a school in Texas, just how cool would that be, being able to play your home state and probably have a lot of your family and friends come out to your games?
That would be fun. I mean, my dad said if whatever college I go to, he's going to every game. So I don't know about my mom. If she's going to every game, she probably will. But playing in Texas, if I was like to go to Baylor or TCU or something like that, that would be cool.
Mhm. Did you have it all like a dream school growing up, or do you have like a college
I've
basketball
always wanted
team?
to go to Duke. Mhm.
Yeah. I think, I know they play Miami. I'm hoping Miami wins, but I'm not too sure about that. We'll have to see. Yeah. So I guess being a Duke fan and saying you always want to go to Duke, obviously when you were born, Coach K was always the coach of Duke. So now that he's
Mhm.
not there anymore, why is that still like, I guess, so unless maybe it changed, unless you don't really care too much about Duke anymore, but why would you still really want to go to Duke even though Coach K is gone?
Cause I just like their culture and their brotherhood and just the stuff they do. Cause I follow them on Instagram and the workouts they do, and the little exciting little trips they take. They get invited to all these little tournaments and stuff. Not to mention the big North Carolina game, stuff like that.
Yep. Yeah. So you'd rather go to Duke than over North Carolina,
Mm,
even though North Carolina has the Jordan gear.
yeah.
Yeah. You see, I'm a North Carolina guy. Like I think every college basketball person should pick like a blue blood to root for. So I picked North Carolina. So I disagree. I think North Carolina would be cool, but I definitely respect your opinion. For sure. I mean, it's all pretty good, but but yeah, and those are good reasons as well. But since we kind of did show some love to the Texas schools, let's talk about Mississippi State. Just maybe break down that offer for us and what that meant to you picking up another Division 1 offer, and that was your most recent one too.
That was a big offer because I didn't even know I had it. Coach Kevin sent me this graphic thing of me with a jersey on. And I said, "What they offered me?" And he was like, "Oh, my bad. I didn't even know you didn't know. I didn't even know you didn't know. Your dad told me to send this to you and stuff like that." So it's big. I'm waiting on the SEC to come in.
Yes, sir. And I mean, I guess you got one SEC offer already. Is that a conference that you would love to play in since you kind of brought that up?
Hmm.
Yeah. And what I find interesting is because you live in Texas, where again, state known for football. The SEC is a football known conference. Like I think they're the best at. I mean, yeah, the national championship game, Alabama, Georgia, two SEC teams playing each other in national championship. Like that's a football conference. So why is that a conference you want to play in really bad when they are known for being better at football?
I don't know. I just liked the SEC. Growing up, when I would watch college basketball, I would look at uh, I would look at Florida. Um, the Georgia coach has been in the gym sometime, and he would watch me lift and give me pointers and stuff like that. So I would want to go to the SEC or the ACC.
Yeah, definitely two good conferences. I think the SEC is actually really good for basketball. I think the SEC might be I mean, it's definitely either SEC or Big Ten for like overall best conference. I'd have to just look at the rankings and see. I think it always varies between them for both sports. But I'm glad you spoke about Florida because I was probably going to forget to ask you this, but I don't know if you know, like I'm from Florida. Well, and
Same.
yeah, exactly. And I live in Florida too. So I saw your bio says born in Florida, made in Texas. So you're from Florida, just like
Mhm.
me. Where were you from in Florida?
Daytona Beach.
Okay, so that's like northeast. That's kind of like a nicest beachy area.
Hmm.
Yeah. Well, so then when did you move to Texas?
I moved when I was really little. I think when I was like 1 or 2. because all the schools I went to were here in Texas, and when I came out here, I was like, I want to go back. I want to go back. I want to go to a school in Florida. I want to go to a school here, and stuff like that.
So I mean, since you lived your whole life in Texas, pretty much, like, why do you want to go back to Florida then? If it's not like you have like friends that you're missing or anything like that. Like you basically
Uh,
didn't live like life in Florida.
some family members are out there. I just like the state. Mainland is right down the street where Vince Carter went. They have his little statue out there. Yeah,
Yeah.
I just like Florida.
So if you move back to Florida, would Daytona be where you'd want to live?
Daytona or Miami.
Yes, sir. I'm not gonna lie, man. If you came, I mean, I'm going to college, so kind of too late now. But man, if you came down here like this year, that would be that'd be big. Especially, I'm not trying to like. I mean, Duncanville is obviously the number 1 team in the country, but we have a team down here that has the. I don't know if you know Carlos Boozer, like his kids. They're probably both 5
They
stars.
went to the CP3 camp I went to.
Yeah. I mean that would have been like. We have a lot of like top friends because I don't know. I was surprised. I don't think did you guys ever play the Knight Riders EYBL team?
We had a chance to play them, but we lost the game before that because we played JL3 and we lost to them on the buzzer, and that was the game to go to the semifinals. And then if we beat Knight Riders, that was to play, I think, Rose City Rebels or something like that, because we played them. That was the Ballin' on the Beach tournament in Florida.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was out of town, so I couldn't go to that. But yeah, like if you guys, I mean, because all the Knight Riders guys are all like from South Florida, so they're basically all here. Like that would have been a good game I'd want to see is you guys taking on that team because respectfully, I think they're probably the best 2025 team in the country that I've seen. I do know that they lost, but they were insanely good. But I guess continuing on with the interview, so maybe a couple more things before we end this thing. I gotta give a shout out to my guy. I mean, Coach Kevin. I think he might still be watching.
Coach K.
I'm assuming he is. I sent him over the link. Actually, wait, no, I don't think it's myself. What am I saying? But yeah, I mean, he set this all up. I really, really appreciate him. Seems like a guy that you're really, really tight with. Kind of talk about your relationship with him.
It's a great relationship. As long as I discipline and do what I'm supposed to do, he'll let me pretty much like not do anything like on the court, but like just like play my game and not like go Coach Carter on me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, so is that a coaching style? I guess I'm assuming you love that coaching style. Is it something that you're looking for when you choose to go to a college as a coach? It's a little more loose and lets you play free.
I mean, I'm good with whatever coach, but I just like the way Coach Kev coaches. All he asked me to do is be a leader out there on the floor, and I lead my team.
Yeah. So then I guess now going back to playing for Duncanville, because that seems a little more different just because I mean you're a freshman, so you really can't have that too big of a role. So like I mean, what's it like, adjusting between the two coaching styles where, AU basketball coach Kevin, you're like the guy, and then on Duncanville, you're like a role player.
Well, it's not really hard to adjust because when I was in middle school, I would come up and play, and Coach Peavy would be on me about doing this, and he said, when you get up here, you're not going to be doing this. You're going to have to be doing this. And so I would just say yes, sir, and take my medicine and move on.
Yeah. If you could pick, actually, no, I don't want to get too controversial. I can't. I'm not a controversial guy. So I guess I'm gonna ask you the question because I feel like you want to know what I'm gonna say, but you don't need to answer. But I was gonna have you pick like which style you prefer, but we're not gonna get into that just in case. I try to keep it I don't like getting in any beef or anything. But I guess there's maybe one more question to really wrap up this whole interview. So you got a long high school career ahead of you. We talked about more of those career goals, but what sorts of things you want to, get better at in high school, learn in high school, and your high school goals that you want to have and a legacy you want to leave before you go off to college.
High school goals when I become a junior or senior and I get to play like in that state championship. Uh, I want to be MVP of that state championship game. I want to score over 1,000, 2,000 points. I want to be best defensive player in the country. Um, win state championships all my 4 years. Um, yeah, that's it.
Yeah. What about maybe like learning anything or anything you want to work on before you head off to college?
Oh,
Anything like that?
work on like on ball defense, because on ball defense I'll like bend my knees and I'll stand in front, I'll stand in front, I'll stand in front. My legs get to burn and burn, burn, burn. Then I'll stand up and like start getting lackadaisical, and
Mm.
they'll either drive like past me or they're like go here and the person will have to help and it will be an open man in the corner. So I have to get better with on ball defense.
Yeah. Well, anyways, man, really, really appreciate you coming on, letting me interview you. Definitely means a lot, and I look forward to seeing everything that happens with your career. So I guess before we really end this thing, I'm just gonna plug your Instagram real quick, and I'm gonna plug my Instagram. So just for you guys watching, I'm not saying anything mean to him. It's literally his Instagram name. It's at you_buggin_me. And I'm at iHoopsFL. And anyways, for 2025, combo guard at Duncanville High School. Kayden, Kyle Edwards. I'm Isaac Fleischer, and this has been another iHoopsFL interview. Peace out, guys.